Hello, people, and welcome to another dose of Drew, an episode of Friday Night Knives. And tonight, the very tasty looking, but trust me when I tell you, you do not want to bite this. It is not as delicious as it looks. This is the Dessert Warrior Elementum. For those of you who don't know, this is a Blade HQ exclusive. They have a whole set of the Dessert Warrior series. They all are just as tasty looking, and they are all just as inedible as this one. So, real quick here, just in case you didn't know, it is pretty much the exact same size as your standard Elementum, which is not just any leek, but a random leek, approximately the same size as your normal standard leek. It's right in that kind of area of small but useful, the small size but not mini size, much like the regular bug out. It is about that same size as well. In case you don't know what that looks like, it is somewhat smaller than something like the PM2, the Paramilitary 2. It is definitely smaller than those. So yeah, a couple of those out there, and real quick, it's just a blur. It's just a blur. It's a little bit smaller, and there it is. All right. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and bring this out because there's a whole other thing. There's really not much. It's painted. It's colored. It's not the same thing as the others, but it's basically a Cerakoted and wonderful patterns D2 blade with the steel liners and the standard, I believe it is G10, yes, G10 multicolored scales. Action is good. This is relatively new. It has not even hardly been broken. I have barely had a chance to use it. I cracked my tooth on it when I got it. It was so tasty looking. As you can see as well, the screws are all matched but different colors. And even the ones inside there, purple and red, right? And then you got blue and green and blue and green and purple and purple and blue. And it is just a whole mess of colors. And it extends to the inside. The colors run all the way through. It's not just skin deep on this little beauty here. This thing is what it is. Now, however, I do want to bring something up, as I do like the Elementum, and this is my first and probably only Dessert Warrior, just because I really liked the outside of this, and it's a relatively inexpensive version, and the D2 steel does benefit quite a bit from, do a quick little wipe on there, the Cerakoting on there. The D2 definitely can stand it. However, there's a couple of other things in here. I do have some other Blade HQ exclusives, and this is kind of going to be a bit of a Blade HQ exclusive video, really, in the long run. But you may notice some differences in some of their others. Now, the Dessert Warriors are well known, but some of their others, they seem to have kind of a theme here going. As you may notice, like there's these right here. For those of you who don't know, that is the CRKT Pilar 3. It is the same as the other one, but those who do indeed like the Pilar 3, as I do, one of my favorite knives of any budget, it is really good ergonomically. You have all black, which if you have the original one in D2, or even 8CR, this one is in D2, you have a really strong chance of being able to black out your Pilar 3. Okay? So you have a very, very good chance of that. And it is nice. It has the same thing. D2 steel, the Cerakoting on it, the stainless steel Cerakoting, and the natural G10 that you can color your own. Very, very nice indeed. This is another. But this follows kind of another pan, and we'll just bring some of the others in here. Tell me if you notice something different about these Dessert Warriors. Like, yeah, there's a slight difference in this one. Because, yeah, we've got a pattern amongst the other Blade HQ specials I own. And then there's the donut knife. Which, by the way, most of these are pretty awesome, I have to admit. And yeah, that's an MX cheat clip. Shameless plug. They make good stuff. Things like the Maniago, their version is one of the cheapest out there. M390, all that stuff. absolutely fantastic. You get the natural G10, the blacked out hardware. One of my biggest reasons for liking is they always black out the hardware and clip. I have far more pants and everything that black goes well with than silver. So that's always a nice bit. And you get some of these, as in the Feldspar here, where you get the S35VN steel as well. You get that little upgrade to the steel. Not always, but sometimes, sometimes you don't, like M390 on this. Okay, and then there's, well, yeah, but then you go like this, and you're like, oh, what's that? Oh, that is CPM M4. Oh, okay, yeah. And if you guys are wondering about the arc on that, I have not touched this with my own sharpener. That is an arc that came stock. We'll just let the light and everything speak for it. Okay. These two are really what I'm talking about today. Is I'm kind of doing the Blade HQ special. I got this one because I wanted the blackout, and I really do like the Pilar 3. I have another review of the original. This isn't any different, except it's got the color scheme. Like I said, I may even end up swapping out the black G10 for this one, just to have the fully ninja'd out Pilar 3 in the D2. It's really, really nice. It's a great knife. The ergonomics on it are fantastic. So is the Elementum. This really isn't an overview of the Elementum or anything else per se, or even the Pilar 3. It's partly the beauty, number one, of dealer exclusives, dealer specials. You can find fantastic things you won't find anywhere else. Some of them are going to be something that you may or may not like, and others may be something you have a really hard time finding really anywhere else where they have things like, if for those who don't know, this is a St. Nick's Knives loadout where they do the red, the black. They tend to have 4V, and this one is not 4V. This is actually a Vanitas 4, or essentially a Bowler Odom version of 4V. It's extremely similar, or 4V's a version of this, whichever way you want to look at it. One of them came first, the other one came after. One's their version, one's Crucible's version. So be it. The only knife I have in Vanitas. So yeah, you can find all sorts of stuff, but particularly it becomes something that's you can collect. The Desert Warriors, they come in particular versions. You want to grab them, and if you're the kind of person who wants to have an entire collection of knives that are really good knives, like outstandingly good knives that are whimsically colored like a donut, because it's hilarious and cool. That, by the way, in case you guys are wondering, there it is. Because it's hilarious and cool. Yeah, it's a great thing to do. If you like the fact that you can have an entire set of different knives that are all approximately the same, are a natural G10 that you can color, and you can color them all yourself, so they'll have a different coloring but the same basic loadout, you can do it. Blade HQ does a really good job. They are not paying me. They have no idea. I buy all my own knives. That's probably going to change. I'm probably going to start pimping out and seeing if anyone will give me knives for review. I have not at this time ever reached out to ask for knives for review. But at this time, I might have to start. But this really is going over how some of this is really great. This is not the only one. For those who have watched this channel several times, Blade HQ is not the only place I frequent. You know, there's plenty of knife places to purchase your stuff from, as well as other pieces, right? So if anyone's wondering, hey, you know what, wait a minute, yeah, you just go and buy them wherever you can. There's lots of places where you can find that, and you know, so be it. As things go, this is one of those things as is. This is going to be a relatively short. It's been a couple of weeks since I have posted. The new year came and go, holidays, all that stuff. I was not posting or doing it. I was doing other concerns besides this. But I do want to make sure and get in here. For anyone who knows, I will always be posting something about knives. I will always try and get a Friday video in. There may be more, but I'll always try and get that Friday video in. If I don't, it probably won't happen till the next week. It does sometimes happen that I record on Friday, it doesn't get uploaded, or it gets uploaded really late and just basically drops on Saturday. But you can pretty much expect by the weekend I will have a new video. That being said, you guys, I highly recommend seeing how many you can get, because a lot of people may like that. If you like a particular knife, always try and see if you can get a dealer exclusive. There's always new ones out in a lot of the larger dealers, and especially the smaller dealers. Some of the smaller dealers become big by having really good versions. This is a Knife Joy version. I don't actually have a regular version of the smock in S30V, which is actually one I want now because S30V is one of my favorite steels. But this is the 20CV version of the smock from Knife Joy. Both of my smock Spydercos are dealer-specific models. They definitely make me want to have an S30V. There's the belly I was talking about for anyone who's really trying to pay attention here. The S30V is one I definitely want now. The smock is one of my favorite daily use knives. It's not a hard use knife by any means. You can use it for years. It's just a really good design for doing things like cutting boxes. It's not the best like box destroyer if you need to cut miles and miles of cardboard or really long cuts, but man, if you just need to make basically shallow cuts and lots of them on and with a lot of control, this is a great knife. And not a smock review, but it is good when you have all of these. The black, always a favorite, and again, sometimes things like here on the MKM Tomavo, the Voknes design of the Tomavo here. Very, very similar, by the way, to the Polar 3 when it comes to its ergonomics. So if you're looking for something, I would love to see a Polar 3 with a slightly upgraded materials. But if you're looking for something very similar that in a slightly smaller package, that a little bit different, but ergonomically very, very similar, I highly recommend the Tomavo. The cheapest version I found out there right now is either the regular micarta version or the Blade HQ dealer special version. That being said, you guys, we're hitting around 12 minutes. Again, CRKT Polar 3 Blade HQ Special. You get it blacked out. The only blacked out version I've ever seen of the Polar 3. In fact, the only dealer version of the Polar 3. I would love to see what more could be done with this knife. I have even worked on making custom scales for this that give you some contouring to really, really bring this knife home. It's a fantastic and one of my favorites. As is the Elementum. This is my third Elementum. I have a S35 Vienna D2 and now another D2 version that looks edible. All right, you guys. That's going to be what I said. These are easy to recommend, but really what I want to bring this about is we're coming to 2023. Knife dealers do a lot out there, you guys. There's a lot of people out there who are picky about the knives they buy. They get something, they send it back. The knife dealers do all that work for you to send it back. They ship it, handle it. You guys send it back. They do that. They do it very great. We love our knife distributors, and they often are responsible for some of the best versions of knives out there just to even get, just so you can get super special things, right? There's lots of dealer specials out there that just end up being really, really, really cool. You're never quite sure, but you can always pretty much guarantee that you're going to get something nifty. So there's lots of reasons to enjoy dealer specials. And again, sometimes it's a combination you'll never get any other way, and it might disappear. So I'll go ahead and start wrapping this up, you guys, just as we're going through, again, Blade HQ, Desert Warrior, and of course the Polar 3 in their Toxic Avenger semi-ninja stuff. Really, really good stuff. Wanted to throw it out there. And again, public service announcement. These are not edible, you guys. Don't try and bite them. You'll chip a tooth. Anyway, all right. So, one last time, you guys. Design aesthetics, they're damn nice. Both of these models have reviews up on my channel, and they're basically well known at this time. But I just want to go, you guys, if you like this, go ahead, please watch it twice, comment as much as you like, be mindful of side effects, and remember to subscribe. This has been your weekly dose of Drew. I am said Drew. You guys have a great rest of your night.